Straight ahead on 12 News, tackling the issue of concussions in football.
Part of this for the coaches is how do we change for the better.
Plus, the vote on light rail that has Crystal Council members concerned and frustrated.
This process is ridiculous.
But first, perspective on Super Tuesday seen through local residents. 12 News starts right now. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. A record number of Minnesota voters are expected to attend caucuses on Super Tuesday.
Unlike primaries and general elections, the caucuses are run by political parties. And as Sonia Goins reports, that has led to voter confusion and disappointment.
City of Brooklyn Park, how may I direct your call?
At Brooklyn Park City Hall,
You probably might have to show your driver's license.
phones at the front desk
City of Brooklyn Park
are ringing off the hook.
Do you want to caucus with the Republicans or the Democrats?
Many folks are confused over where
Come early because of large crowds.
and how to caucus.
You cannot request an absentee ballot for a caucus.
Some folks even came to City Hall this morning thinking they could participate.
There's a lot of people that showed up and they're working that tonight and they're really, really bummed.
Turnout is expected to be large, especially among minority voters.
It's a way for you to affect a change through the party you vote for.
Hollis Winston is the co-chair of the Minnesota African American DFL caucus. He's also a Brooklyn Park resident.
I think as African Americans get more involved with caucuses here, it's a way to push the party that we disproportionately vote for to address the issues that we care about.
With a minority population growing in Brooklyn Park and other cities, both the DFL and GOP parties are trying to get more people involved in the political process.
With these population increases, there's a real opportunity for the minorities to step up and have their say.
The Hispanic Republican Assembly of Minnesota is pushing its message to the Latino community. They expect a lot of people to weigh in on presidential candidates Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio.
They are the two most well-known Latino political candidates in the history of the United States of America.
Meanwhile, both sides are using social media to get people to the caucus.
I've just seen a ton of people talking about go out to your caucuses, and then people who normally don't go are being reached on Facebook, so I think that's probably going to drive a lot of turnout as well.
The stakes are high in Minnesota. Democratic candidates Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders are fighting for 77 delegates, while the 5 Republican candidates are slugging it out over 38 delegates. Delane?
All right, thank you, Sonia. A Maple Grove medical device maker and its CEO have been acquitted in a criminal case that alleged the company promoted one of its products for unapproved uses. Vascular Solutions and its CEO, Howard Root, were under the federal microscope over its marketing of a device to treat varicose veins. A jury in Texas found the company was being truthful and forthright about the product. Not guilty verdicts were returned on all 9 counts.
Saying yes or no to plans for light rail is more complicated than it sounds. That's what the Crystal City Council discovered as it debated municipal consent for the Blue Line extension. So how many ways are there to say yes? With many Crystal Council members against the project, one member said she was looking for the best possible no in the scenario of yeses. Light rail through Crystal has raised plenty of concerns.
There's been concern about crime, traffic, emergency response.
There's also optimism about what a light rail line could bring.
I believe the light rail line is going to bring in a lot of economic development and help a lot of our businesses in downtown Crystal.
But on Monday night, the Crystal City Council wasn't voting whether light rail is good or bad. It was voting on design plans that are only 15% finished.
I don't feel comfortable putting my name behind something that's fuzzy.
Fuzzy because the city doesn't have concrete guarantees. The city will get a pedestrian bridge over County Road 81 at Bass Lake Road, the light rail's lone stop in Crystal. There's also no guarantees from the Met Council about sound walls and visual screening for homes along the line.
I really believe that we have done everything in our power to explain to the project office exactly what we want.
A no vote would mean delays to the project. It would not mean the project would not happen.
Even if we voted no, it doesn't have any teeth.
Which brings us to the question, what is the best way to say no when the result will ultimately be yes?
It's a travesty that the system is set up this way.
In the end, the City Council agreed to take no action, which actually means the project moves forward. The council also added a list of demands, such as the pedestrian bridge and visual screening. The Met Council has said it will work with the city to see that those demands are met.
A portion of Vicksburg Lane in Plymouth will be closed during daytime hours Wednesday. It will be closed to through traffic from County Road 47 to Schmidt Lake Road for railroad repairs. The work is not related to the city's Vicksburg Lane reconstruction project. Well, how do you make a violent game of football safer to play?
It was a topic of discussion at Breck School in Golden Valley on Monday night, and Eric Nelson joins us now with more on that. Eric?
Yeah, Delane and Mike, coaches, doctors, trainers, and parents all showed up for this panel discussion. Their mission was to find some common ground and a way to balance the benefits of playing football with the threat of concussions.
And we've got an injury for the Rebels, unfortunately.
We are a nation of football fanatics.
Football will continue to evolve. I don't see that ever ending.
35-40.
But this contact game is also under intense scrutiny from coast to coast.
First time they played.
A rise in concussions has put football under the microscope.
I do not think football is too severe violent to play.
The panel speakers were in harmony about football's importance in U.S. culture, but agree the sport needs to be made safer through education and technique.
Is there things that we can do to make football safer? And the high school league does that almost every year. There's new protocols for safety and new implementation strategies to help improve safety.
We want to be playing sports for all the right reasons, for competition and to push ourselves as individuals, but not really to get hurt.
Concussions are a hot button topic in all sports, especially football.
We are trying to make them safer. It is okay to play contact sports.
Back in the day, playing through pain was a badge of honor. Now concussion symptoms are taken very seriously, and protocol has to be followed before the athlete is cleared to play.
Where they're groggy, they're not responsive, or they're complaining of any concussion-like symptoms like headaches, nausea, light sensitivity, noise sensitivity, they're sitting the rest of that game, basically.
The goals moving forward are simple. Somehow, someway, make a violent game safe to play.
A part of this for the coaches is how do we change for the better, and what can we do and make improvements in our various programs.
How to keep them from being injured and how to keep them playing the sports that we think are good for them in terms of growth and development as a person and as an athlete.
Now, Mike and Delane, football proponents say that equipment and technology have improved. This panel discussion was hosted by the Independent Metro Athletic Conference.
All right, thanks, Eric.
Yep.
Well, coming up, a different medical issue, TextNIC, how smartphones are creating concerns with local doctors.
And then later in sports, the Cooper boys basketball team will shoot for another upset in this section playoffs.
But first, a slow warm-up. Temperatures are expected to hover around freezing on Wednesday.
The smartphone technology has changed everything from how we communicate, shop, or find information.
But in today's Health Check, we take a look at an unintended consequence of smartphones that physical therapists say could pose serious risks if people don't take the proper precautions. Passing time at Champlin Park High School brings a stampede of students through the halls walking from one class to another. And it doesn't take long to notice many of them have their heads buried in smartphones.
And that's a daily thing. People are playing games on their cell phone, they're texting, they're reading.
West Health physical therapist Tulsi Subdeo says constantly looking down at your phone can have consequences.
And I think over time, if you're doing that too much, it can lead to stiffness in the neck, it can lead to pain, it can lead to headaches.
He says the human head weighs about 12 pounds.
I just want you to feel the weight of that.
That's pretty heavy. He uses a medicine ball as an example.
You wouldn't imagine that your head is probably that heavy, right?
It's meant to rest directly over your spine.
As it shifts forward, you can see how the stress starts to be placed more on the muscles back here because they have to work a lot harder to hold the head up.
The key is to correct that posture before the brain starts thinking it's normal.
Most of us have a little bit of this drooping shoulder.
He demonstrated exercises people can do to help prevent problems from developing.
Tuck the chin straight back so you feel a stretch back here.
That's one exercise to relieve the pressure.
Squeeze it back, hold it for about 2 or 3 seconds.
Another requires simply squeezing the shoulders back.
And again, 2 or 3 of those every hour.
He also recommends using doorways to stretch out the chest.
Move forward just ever so slightly so you feel a gentle stretch in the chest.
Of course, none of this would be necessary if people just paid less attention to their phones.
The bottom line is we shoot for prevention, and we try to get them to break up the habit.
Well, physical therapists say one way to break the habit would be to hold your phone in front of your face, or can use your eyes to look down rather than bending your neck. I think it's something that we can all learn from.
Like out here.
Exactly, out there.
We'll see.
Well, coming up, why Golden Valley firefighters may be complaining of sore leg muscles.
But first, highlights from a big night of playoff basketball, including Osseo versus Park Center. John Jacobson is in next with sports.
Washington back out.
Close basketball game, and we are narrowing down the field a little bit more.
Teams are falling by the wayside, one by one. We're getting down to section final time. The Osseo boys basketball team beat Park Center twice by big margins on the way to an undefeated regular season. Their third meeting, though, was much closer. The Orioles and Pirates playing in the Section 5-4A semifinals. Osseo puts on the pressure. The Pirates turn it over. John Bezdicek gets the layup for early 9-5 lead. Dante Jones gets a steal near half court, and he takes it strong for the layup and foul. The Orioles lead grows to 9. But Coach James Ware and the Pirates close the first half strong. Lucini Kamara drains a three from the top of the key to pull within 1. And Kamara ends the half with a baseline jumper as the Pirates take a 1-point lead into halftime. Second half, Demario Armstrong dishes to Cameron Betty for the reverse layup and a 2-point Osseo lead. Park Center keeps coming, though. Derek Ogechi hits the bounce on a three-pointer. The Pirates are within 2. Marmar Hughes provides a spark off the bench for Osseo. His driving layup puts the Orioles up by 4. Down to the final minute, Park Center's down by 3. Ogechi's attempt for the tie is no good. And Osseo closes it out with free throws, and they survive an upset bid to beat Park Center 60-52.
Yeah, we came out complacent. Park Center, they came ready to play. They acted like they didn't have nothing to lose, and they just came ready. So they gave us a game.
In the other semifinal, Champlin Park was shooting for a third straight section final appearance. The second-seeded Rebels hosting 3-seed Mounds View. The Mustangs, Zeke Thompson with the hesitation and drive the basket for 2, giving Mounds View a 14-9 lead. Champlin Park's McKinley Wright with a step-back 2-point try here. He'll miss. The big Theo John is underneath to clean up and score. Rebels lead by 2. Josiah Strong with a steal off the inbounds pass, takes us the distance to score, but the Rebels trail at halftime 36-32. Second half, and Mounds View holds the lead. Nick McMillan waiting for Thompson to break free for the backdoor layup. Mustangs lead grows to 10. But Champlin Park doesn't fold. Aaron Klepner with a dribble drive hits the tough contested floater in the lane to pull Champlin Park within 2. Final minute of play. McKinley Wright drives, misses, but gets his own rebound to score. Mounds View's lead is down to 1, 59-58. After the Mustangs hit 2 free throws, Wright tries to send the game to overtime with a 3 in the final seconds, but it comes off, and Mounds View survives a second straight close game in the tournament, and they advance on to the final. So it's Mounds View and Osseo for the Section 5-4A championship. The game is Friday night at 7 at Rogers High School. The Cooper boys basketball team will try for a second straight upset Wednesday in Section 6-4A. The Hawks were back in the gym Monday, getting set to face Hopkins in the section championship game. That's after Cooper played perhaps his best game of the season to knock off a Wayzata team that's been in the top 10 all season, 70-67 Saturday in the semifinals.
I'm very proud of my guys. I mean, we came in with the mindset knowing that we could beat them, and we knew that we had to execute the game plan in order to do so, and we did just that, and we won.
Saturday was our best game. You know, we talked about playing for 36 minutes, and we finally ended up playing for 36 minutes on Saturday. And I said, if you play for 36 minutes, you give yourself a pretty good chance of winning.
The Hawks did play Hopkins during the regular season, and it did not go well for Cooper. The Royals won that night, 112-70. Cooper guys think it will benefit them to have seen Hopkins up close.
I think people are used to seeing this. Yeah, we definitely know what they're capable of, and I feel like last game was just, we just didn't play our best basketball.
Being able to play against them and see them live and in person helps for our preparation. We still got to go out and play because they're very good, but it at least takes out some of those jitters that the guys might have if we hadn't played them before.
Cooper and Hopkins play at 7 o'clock Wednesday at Osseo High School. Watch that game Thursday at 10 p.m. on Channel 12 and 12.tv. Hopkins girls basketball team will take another run at a state championship in the next few weeks. This week on Sports Jam here on Channel 12, Jay Wilcox profiles Royal star Nia Hollie. Here's a clip from that story.
Hopkins coach Brian Cosgriff and his staff demand hard work at practice and in games, and they aren't shy about letting players know about mistakes. Four-year varsity player Hollie says at first she was a little apprehensive.
I mean, I used to be up in the banisters, you know, watching the older kids practice, and I just be like, oh, I don't know if I want to be a part of that, but it's like, I mean, you got to kind of take that leap of faith, and if you want to be great, that's who to be coached under, and it's been really good for me. It's paid off really well.
And after 4 seasons together, Cosgriff says Hollie's one of the best Royals ever.
I think Nia's right up there, top 5. She's going to go down as our school's second all-time leading scorer, and I think that when it's all said and done, you know, her resume speaks for itself.
Watch the rest of the Nia Hollie story and more on Sports Jam. It runs through Wednesday at 3:30, 6:30, and 9:30 p.m. on Channel 12. And that's a look at sports for today.
Anything can happen in March, huh?
That's right, March Madness.
We'll see what happens. Well, still ahead, one impressive climb for Golden Valley firefighters.
We'll be right back. Welcome back. Well, if you had the choice between taking the stairs for 31 floors or taking the elevator, most of us would probably choose the elevator.
But that's not the case for a group of firefighters from Golden Valley who volunteered their time and their leg muscles to climb the U.S. Bank Plaza in Minneapolis. They do it to raise money for the American Lung Association. The 5 Golden Valley volunteers raised more than $10,000, which adds up to $97,000 over the 10 years that they've done this.
There are some people that show up and really push the limits and run. And these guys and girls are in really good shape and do a great job. For the most part, most people just climbing it is the accomplishment. And I can't express to you how hard it is and how much effort goes into climbing 31 stories in full fire gear.
This area is called Firefighter Rehab. It's at the top of the climb where firefighters get a chance to rest. And of course, they do that with that full fire gear that weighs about 60 pounds on their back, up 31 flights of stairs. They did that Saturday over the weekend.
I've covered that before. They are worn out at the end. They're worn out midway through it. So
and they're in good shape.
Yeah,
they're firefighters.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's it for now. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone.
Yeah, we'll see you back here again tomorrow starting at 4.